Robyn from Sister Wives is responsible for the Brown family's persistent dysfunction. It has become evident to me that Robyn Brown from Sister Wives is obstructing the healing process of the Brown family. Sister Wives Season 19 has recently concluded and was broadcast in 2 segments. The initial segment of the season, shown in late 2024, concentrated on the tensions inside the Brown family, as former patriarch Kody Brown navigated his relationships with his original 3 wives, Mary, Janelle, and Christine Brown, ultimately remaining in monogamy with his 4th wife, Robyn. The last part of the season depicted the Brown family coping with the suicide of Janelle and Kody's son, Garrison Brown, in March 2024. Subsequent to the season finale, a 4-part tell-all ensued, whereby hosts Sukanya, Suki, Krishnan engaged in individual discussions with Kody, Robyn, and the original 3, posing provocative inquiries to get their perspectives on the unfolding events. The subject of Garrison's demise was prohibited during the tell-all. The Brown family is endeavoring to recover from Garrison's demise, as well as the distressing collapse of their polygamist aspirations and the disintegration of their familial structure as they once understood it. Consequently, after viewing the tell-all, I believe Robyn is complicating the healing processes. During the Sister Wives Season 19 tell-all, Robyn was asked if she believed Kody preferred her. Kody's favoritism is the primary reason for Mary, Janelle, and Christine's departure from him. Robyn expressed her belief that Kody does not exhibit favoritism, a perspective that I find frustrating to hear from her in light of the evident facts. When inquired whether she was Kody's sacred cow, a term invented by Janelle, Robyn provided an uncomfortable reply. Robyn's failure to recognize her perception as Kody's favorite is detrimental to the family's healing process. Should she acknowledge that her and Kody's behavior inside their polygamous arrangement was inappropriate, I contend she would garner greater respect. By acknowledging the issue of favoritism, the family may be able to move on, maybe altering the pronounced rift between Robyn and the other members. I have observed Robyn persistently maintain unrealistic optimism over the potential reconciliation of Kody's connections with the original 3. I believe Robyn is disillusioned and is attempting to save her reputation by suggesting that no irreversible harm has occurred and that reconciliation within the family is still possible. Kody heeds Robyn's advice, and if she persists in the futile notion that resolution is attainable, I foresee Kody's relentless pursuit of dominance over his former partners continuing unabated. Some ties with the children may alter if Robyn has a transformation. Robyn is at the core of the family's disintegration. Kody, Mary, Christine, and Janelle operated as a polygamous family prior to her joining the family. Robyn declined to respond to tell-all inquiries or provided ambiguous answers. Robyn's failure to acknowledge Kody's favoritism and her conduct at the tell-all is undermining any prospects of reconciliation with Kody's first marriages and his biological children. Robyn and Kody possess extravagant spending habits that I am aware irritate the Brown family. Upon the acquisition of the Coyote Pass property, intended for the family amidst the last stages of their polygamist aspiration, Robyn and Kody received the largest share and enhanced their residence with opulent features, including a heated driveway. Kody and Robyn currently reside in a 7,884-square-foot mansion valued at $2.1 million in Flagstaff, Arizona. Their expenditures have engendered resentment and frustration among the original 3 wives and their children, who have not experienced similar luxury with the family's finances. Additionally, concerns have arisen regarding the potential misappropriation of family funds by Kody and Robyn to enhance their lifestyle and time together. Robyn is the focal point of the Brown family's problems, and her expenditure on dolls and clothing is perceived as thoughtless, a sentiment shared by others of Kody's children. Michael T. and Gwen Brown have specifically commented on the contrasting spending patterns of Kody and Robyn compared to the family's collective financial management. Nonetheless, Kody Brown stood at the window of his Arizona estate, arms folded, as the desert winds stir up dust outside. The sun was sinking, and the true turmoil was only commencing within his own fragmented family. Nearly a year had elapsed since his last wife, Robyn, was the sole companion by his side. Mary relocated to Utah to operate a bed and breakfast full-time. Christine moved to Salt Lake City with her fiancé David, and Janelle resettled in the East, constructing her own establishment, while Kody owing her back pay. Mary, always aloof yet loyal for decades, had discreetly engaged an accountant to examine the Brown family LLC. Tension ensued following the viral dissemination of Christine's wedding announcement. Images of her in a cascading ivory gown, laughing alongside David Woolley, inundated social media. Enthusiasts were elated, and Kody was incensed. Not due to her having progressed, but because she was exhibiting a new existence constructed in part on resources they had previously shared. He had a correspondence from her attorney merely 2 weeks thereafter. My client demands her fair portion of the family fortune, encompassing joint savings accounts, real property, and revenues from previous TLC seasons. Kody hurled the letter across the room. She was a homemaker. He barked. Now she believes she is entitled to 50% of all assets. Janelle, recognized for her understated resilience and rationality, had remained mute for several months. However, she was secretly assembling records. Prolonged periods of outstanding indebtedness. Kody borrowed money for familial necessities that has not been repaid. She documented in her journal. Mary has consistently exhibited emotional detachment, even during her legal marriage to Kody. However, with the separation, a transformation occurred within her. She was not merely establishing a business, she was recovering her narrative. Her book contract was finalized, and her memoir, Escaping the Shadows, alluded to financial exploitation and emotional abandonment. Subsequently, the revelation emerged. She had engaged an independent forensic accountant to scrutinize the family's financial records from the last decade. Kody was incensed. She is attempting to tarnish my reputation in the media, he snarled at Robyn. They are all. As Kody seethed, Robyn observed in despair. The woman who previously stated, I merely desire the family to remain united, now resided in a stronghold of surveillance and legal counsel. She also started to doubt whether matters had genuinely been equitable. I relinquished all to become part of this family, she said to her sister one evening. I am now the sole guardian of a disintegrating kingdom. In the climactic end of Season 19, Episode 29, the Browns are depicted entering a courthouse. The ambience is charged. Supporters congregated outside. Tabloids broadcasted live from the courthouse steps. Kody, accompanied by his attorneys, passed by his ex-wives without acknowledging them. Within the courtroom, the judge proclaimed, this case does not pertain to retribution. It pertains to fiscal accountability. Mr. Brown, although you may have been the patriarch, you are not exempt from the law. As calculations were performed, Kody's kingdom appeared to diminish. His book royalties, performance fees, and land sales are all susceptible to division. At the conclusion of the hearing, he was mandated to disburse approximately $3.2 million to his ex-wives over the subsequent 5 years. Child support for minor children, a compensation arrears for collaborative enterprises, remuneration for assets disposed of without authorization. Alone that night in his expansive yet vacant residence, Kody gazed at a family photograph when his 4 wives were beside him, beaming beneath the Arizona sun. He had constructed something previously, something revolutionary, delicate, and profoundly imperfect. Was it affection? He inquired of himself. Or merely control disguised as devotion? Lesson of the narrative. Unbalanced power collapses under its own burden. When affection becomes transactional, even a spiritual bond may devolve into legal contention. In the realm of polygamy, emotional liabilities can be as burdensome as financial ones. Nonetheless, June 2025, the turmoil inside the Brown family persists in the public eye. However, nothing could have foreseen the events this month would unveil. It was an era characterized by peculiar appearances, profound revelations, and a transformative journey. Kody Brown's appearance in a disco ensemble, clutching a glittering pineapple and lip-syncing to a classic ABBA song, was quite unexpected. The startling incident occurred during Kody's unexpected guest on the reality comedy series, Laughing Through the Pain, a parody known for showcasing reality stars in degrading sketches. Kody's part, entitled Pineapples and Polygamy, aimed to satirize his plural marriage experience, rather Viewers were astonished by his unsettling delight for the ensuing pandemonium. Kody subsequently asserted, "I aim to demonstrate my ability to laugh at myself. Many perceive me as domineering or temperamental. However, I possess versatility." However, beneath the ostentation and ridiculousness, insiders revealed that Kody was experiencing financial difficulties and required funds. His enterprises had failed. Robyn's store had discreetly shuttered last winter, and with 3 divorces in his past, his financial burden was greater than ever. Critics dismissed his fun-loving justification. Janelle, the former spouse, tweeted in an enigmatic manner, "Suki, the astute and poised tell-all interviewer renowned for her presence in the Sister Wives specials, returned. This time, she revealed everything without reservation." Suki delved deeply while seated opposite Christine, Janelle, and Mary. However, what astonished fans the most was that she not only conducted interviews, but also disclosed information. In a remarkable instance, Suki presented an undisclosed tape from 2022 in which Robyn clandestinely confessed. The chamber fell silent. Christine's jaw fell agape. Mary averted her gaze, blinking rapidly. Janelle exhibited a smirk. However, when Christian commenced sharing vlogs focused on reconnecting with nature, contemplating familial relationships, and dismantling generational patterns of poison, an unforeseen occurrence transpired. He achieved viral status. In a poignant video, he stated, "My father never truly acknowledged my presence. I doubt he understood how to parent a son who did not idolize him. However, I am severing that connection. I am selecting tranquility. I am selecting autonomy." The internet supported Christian's path. Christine disseminated his video, stating, "My son is evolving into the man his father never had the courage to become." Christian's narrative motivated other Brown children to voice their concerns as well. Gwendolyn disclosed her personal identity struggles. Isabel discussed her recovery from scoliosis and emotional trauma, and Paydon encouraged followers to look beyond the drama. In Arizona, Robyn was observed weeping outside her residence as paparazzi surrounded her. Sources reported that Kody was furious with Suki's interview and Christian's fame. A person close to him stated, "He feels as though he is being erased. This is the consequence of making everyone revolve around you." Kody announced the forthcoming release of his memoir, titled The Head of the Table, in a final effort to retake the narrative. The press statement asserted that it will disclose the true story behind plural marriage and rectify decades of false narratives. Christine responded assertively on her Instagram account, "Nothing is more perilous than an individual who perceives truth-telling as an assault." At the conclusion of June, Christine, Janelle, and Mary reconvened in Utah, not as spouses, but as companions. They organized a women's retreat entitled Reclaiming Self, during which they exchanged narratives, forged emotional connections, and formally introduced a new collaborative podcast. What is their inaugural episode? Evading the Patriarch: Insights from Polygamy. Simultaneously, Christian returned from Iceland with a publication agreement for a poetry and photography book, while TLC suggested that a new spin-off entitled Next Gen, The Brown Kids Speak, was in preliminary development. Kody, conversely, was last observed in Los Angeles. Speculation suggested he was applying for Celebrity Big Brother. June 2025 was not merely another chapter in the Brown family narrative, but a pivotal juncture. The spouses transitioned from just survival to flourishing, the children discovered their voices, and the guy at the epicenter confronted the disintegration of the empire he constructed on domination. As Suki concluded with her now-renowned concluding line, "Perhaps certain narratives are most effectively conveyed by those who have liberated themselves." Nonetheless, after decades of cohabitation inside the tumultuous framework of polygamy, Janelle Brown ultimately confronted the daunting, yet exquisite prospect of independence. With a snow scarcely thawed in Flagstaff and her RV in storage, she packed her final suitcase and boarded the plane destined for Maine, a location she had only encountered in magazines while envisioning pine trees, tranquil mornings, and a life uniquely her own. The decision to depart was not impulsive. It had been escalating for years, disputes, misunderstandings. She leased a modest two-bedroom cottage in a tranquil coastal village in Maine named Havens Point. The ocean was frigid yet soothing, the community diminutive yet hospitable. For the first time, she was neither Kody's wife nor one of the sister wives. She was simply Janelle. At the farmer's market, she encountered Lila, a retired educator who instructed her on planting rhubarb and preparing fresh strawberry jam. She commenced volunteering at the local library, assisting children with reading initiatives, and also enrolled in an online digital marketing course. A new rhythm gradually materialized. Individuals refrained from inquiring about her history. When queried, she would just respond, "It's been a journey," accompanied by a smile. 3 months subsequent to her relocation, TLC contacted her. A producer remarked, "We have been monitoring your online transition. Supporters exhibit curiosity. Would you consider a mini-series focused solely on your current life?" No theatrics, only Janelle's self-discovery. She exhibited reluctance. Are there cameras once more? However, on this occasion, the narrative would belong to her. No alterations to diminish her stature in comparison to Robyn. No narrative distorted to shield Kody. Only veracity. She consented, contingent upon one stipulation: no former spouses, no orchestrated reunions, and no sympathetic alterations. The series, titled Janelle, Reclaimed, rapidly emerged as an unexpected success. Audiences appreciated observing her cultivate her garden, stroll along the cliffs at dawn, and engage in ceramics at the community center. A popular moment depicted her dancing barefoot in the rain after constructing a greenhouse, soaked, laughing, and vibrant. She encountered an individual. Not deliberately. His name was Mark, a widowed proprietor of a bookstore, characterized by a gravelly voice and benevolent gaze. He appreciated her fortitude and refrained from inquiring about reality television. "I am not seeking matrimony," she informed him. "Satisfactory," he remarked. "I seek tranquility."
If you.
On a brisk October morning, a knock resonated at her door. Christine, enveloped in a wool scarf, gazed in astonishment at Janelle's cottage. "I needed to witness it personally," she stated. "You appear remarkable." They dedicated a weekend to baking, conversing, and laughing as they once did. Christine had brought Truly, who cherished the rugged shoreline. They discussed co-authoring a book titled Breaking Free: Our Stories from Sister Wives. "Perhaps we are all ultimately acquiring the ability to navigate our own narratives," she stated. A brief, typed note from Kody arrived in the mail one day. "Janelle, I viewed your recent program. I was unaware of the extent of what one must forfeit to discover one's true self. I wish you genuine happiness." No animosity. She refrained from crying. She also did not laugh. She meticulously folded it and inserted it inside her journal, signifying closure. By the conclusion of her inaugural year in Maine, Janelle had authored a book, cultivated her own produce, adopted a senior rescue dog named Willow, and established a modest home bakery titled Brown Sugar by the Sea. Her existence was no longer centered on survival or concession. It pertained to joy, serene, merited, and complete. Fans continued to observe her. TLC has expanded the duration of her show. However, the narrative now belonged solely to her. Janelle Brown has transitioned from being a mere footnote in another's narrative to becoming the author of her own tale. Nonetheless, the morning was beginning to ascend over the expansive Arizona desert as Mary sat solitary on the porch of her unpretentious home, sipping coffee from a handcrafted cup inscribed with, "Hope is stronger than fear." A chill permeated the air, yet her thoughts ignited like flame. For more than 20 years, she attempted to preserve the facade of cohesion in a plural marriage that had become increasingly tenuous with each successive year. Within the property, the formerly vibrant communal areas were now partitioned by imperceptible emotional barriers. The ladies ceased to prepare meals collaboratively. The laughing that once resonated in the Brown family residences has been supplanted by strained silences, passive-aggressive messages, and uncomfortable family gatherings that inflict more harm than nostalgia. Mary's isolation and internal struggle. Mary perceived herself as a specter. Since her emotional estrangement from Kody, she has navigated a precarious balance between remaining for the family's benefit and departing to restore her lost identity. She had sacrificed, compromised, and pardoned. Ultimately, she frequently found herself seeing Kody bestow affection upon Robyn while regarding her as a remote relative rather than a partner. She had previously anticipated that therapy sessions and calm discussions would reconcile the divide. Despite publicly recognizing their challenges, Kody continued to be emotionally inaccessible. His fondness for Robyn was evident, and although Christine had departed and Janelle was becoming increasingly autonomous, Mary persisted, awaiting, anticipating a signal, a modification, a moment in which she would regain significance. Robyn's guilt and domination simultaneously. Within her residence, Robyn exhibited signs of anxiety as she paced. She had become Kody's emotional anchor, the spouse he relied upon and confided in. However, the burden of that duty was beginning to overwhelm her. She never claimed to be the favored one, at least, that is what she reassured herself. Nevertheless, she increasingly clung to Kody each day, as the other wives became more aloof and hostile. She recently attempted to engage Mary by proposing lunch and casual conversation, but Mary's eyes reflected fatigue from feigning interest. Robyn frequently justified her actions, asserting, "I did not instigate the family's disintegration," while inside, she recognized her role in exacerbating the rift. Janelle had transformed into a subdued insurgent. She had consistently esteemed autonomy, employment, financial management, and child-rearing. However, she now recognized that she did not require Kody to maintain her strength. She ceased to await validation. She possessed her RV, aspirations to construct on Coyote Pass, and an evolved relationship with herself. "I am not angry," she informed Mary one evening while consuming wine. "I am simply finished diminishing myself to elevate someone else." Christine's exit and its consequences. Christine's departure the prior year had profoundly unsettled the household. She was the first to declare, "No more." Her decision to depart from Kody and go to Utah inspired millions of women and profoundly affected her sister wives. She currently excels on social media, hosting a cooking show and sharing wonderful experiences with her children. Kody perceived Christine's leaving as an act of betrayal. However, for the spouses, it served as a clarion cry. Kody's diminution of influence. Kody was no longer the assured patriarch of a cohesive household. His ire, perplexity, and desire for control exacerbated the situation. He frequently erupted during family meetings, alleging that the women failed to endorse his vision and betrayed their covenant. However, they had merely surpassed him. In a memorable occasion, Kody convened everyone for a reset family gathering beneath the desert sky. The family had changed from its former state, but perhaps that was acceptable. Each lady had discovered something more profound: self-esteem, liberation, and tranquility. Mary gazed out the window of Lizzie's Heritage Inn, seeing the gentle snowfall on the hills. A client smiled at her and inquired, "You are Mary from Sister Wives, correct?" Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Sabrina, and I hope your day is going splendidly. If you like the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.